on a visit to a boxing match. One of the interesting things about being a rabbi is that you meet all kinds of people. And one of the fascinating people I've met is a hero in Israel, and to his Jewish and Russian compatriots in the metropolitan New York area, Dmitry, known to me as Rabbi David Salita, and sort of was invited to his last boxing match, which was supposed to be for some kind of a title, but unfortunately the boxer chickened out at the almost last moment, and a substitute was gotten for him. And I attended the area, although for the most part did not watch any of the boxing, and I'll give you my reasons for not watching them. I thought about it for a while, and it was a very festive area. There were 9 bouts. The main event was, of course, Dmitry Salita against James Wakey from Wisconsin. And it was an interesting mix of people. Since Dmitry is the draw, you'd expect a lot of Jewish people there. There was even a kosher buffet. And boys with yarmulkes and some people with beards, not some elderly people like myself, but mostly young people who get excited about sports events. And of course there was the mix of Hispanics and other ethnic groups who comprised the primary, the most of the fighters were of course Hispanic, and they're very popular, and this was at the Rose Garden Ballroom in New York City. You see a lot of people strutting around, showing that they're tough people in this area. And the boxing matches, of course, there's a lot of cheers and a lot of boos and so on, catcalls. But the most important element that people go to see boxing for is to see one person beat the brains out of somebody else. And for us, I guess for the Jewish group, we wanted to see Dmitry beat the brains out of his opponent, whoever that opponent might be. And he did not disappoint. It was a 3rd round technical knockout, although I don't know if the young man would have been able to last the 10 count. But it was a quick bout, and most people who had gone to see Dmitry were happy, except myself. I was drawn to see some of the fight. I stayed in the side room because I'm a rabbi. A rabbi shouldn't be involved in boxing matches. But I was concerned about Dmitry. He's a friend of mine, a congregant of mine, and I wanted to see how well he was doing. And I saw some of the fight, and afterwards I reflected, yes, it was great that he won. However, James Wakey is a fine boxer, good athlete, probably a nice man, and grew up in Wisconsin, and had a lot of promise. And when he was young, he must have been the toughest guy in his group, and he developed and became a professional fighter. Unfortunately, there are many great athletes and many great people who become professional fighters. And the ones who win titles are exceptional athletes. Even the so-called bums of the month are great athletes. You shouldn't even try to get in the ring with them. These are people that are exceptionally trained, have tremendous, tremendous skills. And here, in this arena, a man who trains and works hard, has tremendous talent, got his brains beaten in. And it's quite a sad thing to see and to observe and to think about. Think about this. The greatest fighter of the last half century in the 20th century was a man by the name of Muhammad Ali, also known as Cassius Marcellus Clay. Terrific fighter. Beat the greatest boxers of his day, including Smoke and Joe Frazier and George Foreman. Beat George Foreman very badly. George never recovered. And George tried, but George could not rise up again through the ranks to be able to fight the great Ali. Today, George Foreman promotes the Foreman Grill, won a world's title at age 45, almost 46 again, is articulate, is involved in public works. Smoke and Joe Frazier is retired, written books, speaks on television, radio. Muhammad Ali is almost incommunicable. He's got Parkinson's, the result of being bashed in the head for decades. Greatest fight in the world is a shell of himself. Boxing brings out the worst within us, the desire that we want to see blood, we want to see somebody beat the brains out of somebody else. In the course of time, somebody does beat the brains out of somebody else, and it could wind up being the champion himself. It's a brutal sport. I don't know what the value of it is. Maybe it's symbolic. But those are my thoughts.